Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. It's been a long absence since my last video here on my channel, but we're finally back now for something different. I'm gonna do a lap guide here on Watkins Glen boot layouts for the upcoming 6-hour special event here on iRacing. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Alright, so here we are then on the start-finish straight at Watkins Glen. Just gonna play the video here, or the replay here of a good lap I had earlier today. So, turn 1 then. What I think about coming in here is first off this 300 board where I lift off the throttle, okay? Not where I brake, where I lift off the throttle. And then immediately start applying the brake until I'm at the 200 board. Here's where I want to have peak pressure. And then immediately after passing that, or at the 100 board basically, that's when I want to start come trailing off the brake all the way into the corner. Make sure you hold it to the middle. Now you can see this corner has a lot of angle, so the tighter you go into the apex, the more time you'll gain, or the more grip you will find. So it makes a lot of difference, for example, having a right wheel here or a right wheel here. It makes more difference than a normal corner. So it's very important that you always focus on getting really close to this steeper angle of the curb, not on it but right on the side of it, to really use all the grip. So you can get super early on the throttle here. You can see I almost fully smack it to 100%, and then use all of this exit obviously. Track limits are on the edge of that curb, so that's turn 1. So now we're coming down the second straight here, just all flat, preparing for the most difficult corner on the track, or the most difficult section on the track. So the important thing to think about when you come into bus stop now is this is not just one corner, it's an entire section. So if you push too hard into the entry of this corner, you're gonna have difficulties later in that section. You will really easily overheat the front tires in this section. And the iRacing tire model is really sensitive. You can't be as aggressive as you can be in real life on the tires when you come into corners. So you really have to think about being smooth. I use the 300 board here to lift off the throttle and then apply the brake slowly. And now you have to really stay on the brake. You don't want to lift off it fully. Get as close to the wall as you can. You're gonna fly a bit here, but when you land, you start applying the brake a little bit again to slow down that extra bit, so you don't have understeer coming into this one. Use all of this curb to make sure you get that rotation. The important thing to think about here though is if you come a little bit too quick off this first curb, or you miss the wall a little bit and you come into this one and you're coming more with an angle from the left and you hit a bump that's here, you will really fly off. So that's, or like go wide. So that's why this section is really difficult in my opinion. You really need to take this curve with the right sort of angle with the car. Use that bump for your rotation. You see how the rear end is completely nuts here, but you see that it gets some extra rotation. Then you get over this curve just a little bit. There's a bump to the left here that you want to watch out for, which will send you flying. So just a little bit of that curve to cut some meters. Make sure you get super early on the throttle here, because it's fine if you go wide here into this corner. You dip your tire down in the grass or right beside of the curb, because it will really hook you up around the curb, give you some more grip. And then you come down into this long right-hander. So the whole bus stop is basically just preparing for this right-hander here. If you took the bus stop too aggressively, you're gonna have a lot of understeer coming in here. But as I said, come down from here. You can put the car in the middle, not too far to the right or too far to the left. Just put it in the middle when you come out. Really careful on the brake now, because you're gonna come in with a lot of turning angle and it's a really long corner. And really wait with the steering wheel, wait, and then throttle. And you can be quite aggressive on the throttle here in a corner like this, because you have a lot of downforce. Don't need to worry that much about the throttle control. Use all of this exit here over that curb. And now prepare for this left-hander here by going all the way to the right side. Here there's not really any braking marker you can use. You have this gray area here where I aim to have peak pressure on the brake, or where I start coming off the brake after peak pressure. So that's what I use for this corner if I use anything. And now here it's very downhill, so the thing here is you really need to stick around the curb all the way. If you get too early on the throttle here, it's very easy to just fall out all the way and then into the dirt, and yeah, it will just make you understeer a lot. So make sure you really are patient here around this curb, and when you feel the rear starts hooking up, that's when you get on the throttle. And don't use all of that curb, you can use a little bit, but if you come up here it will bottom out. You can see it's more or it's higher here on a higher level, so if you put the right tire on it, it's gonna bottom with the middle, so you're gonna lose time because of that. So just put a little bit of your tires on that curb. Coming into this right-hander now. Instead, now we're coming into a uphill corner, so we're gonna have this 200 board here, where I use as a braking marker. Coming uphill, make sure you hold the brake. And here is a really difficult corner with the traction. You have to have a lot of throttle control. Make sure that you don't roll anything. You wanna, as soon as you come off the brake, start applying a little bit of throttle. Really wait. And now I can feel that the rear is hooking up. Full throttle and let the car go out to the left and use all of that exit. So coming on the third straight here, we're gonna look at the 200 board once again. Wanna have peak pressure around it, and then start coming off once again. Now these are the low speed corners of the track. You're gonna have to use a lot more control or focus more on your throttle to get the good exits here. You have less downforce, so you can't really push as much on the entry. You gotta get that exit, use all of the track once again, all the way out to the dirt here actually. It works somehow. And then open this left-hander by going fully to the right. Now this one is really sketchy with the rear. If you have any steps in your braking where you're going to, say, from peak pressure, which is here, and then quickly come down to 20, you're gonna get loose and might spin or overheat your rears. So this is probably the most important corner on the track where you really have to be calm with the brake. It's better to overslow this corner a little bit to make sure you get the exit rather than push too hard in and come off the brake too quickly. But you can see, really calm with the brake, and the steering wheel just very tidy. And this is probably the corner where you wait with the throttle the most. Quickly up to like around 70 or 65%. Hold it there, hold it. And now I can feel that the car is stable, centered. I can push full throttle and let it float out to the right. And now probably the two easiest corners on the track in my opinion. You got this left-hander where you just lift off 20% and then back to 100. Come all the way out here to the right with that curb, and then quickly down here to the left. Use all of that entry. You want to make sure you come off this curb pretty quickly, because if you come off too late and you arrive here at the entry point of the corner, if you arrive there too late, you might touch the grass or have a spin. So how to avoid that, for me personally, I really like coming off it a little bit earlier and setting this last corner up. Just a little bit of brake here, a lot of downforce coming in here, so you can just smack the throttle coming out of it all the way up to the wall. Make sure you don't touch it though. And that's a 134 or 131 487 here around Watkins Glen. See you in the next one.